Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
It's that feeling that you're an imposter, you just don't belong there. What are you doing there? Who are you to be moderating a panel on venture capitals? These are a lot of self-doubt moments that anyone deals with. I deal with them a lot more frequently because I'm always venturing into areas that I've never been in before. I would say to my younger self, I would say, don't worry, be happy.
Will fall in.
Everything falls into place.
Yeah.
Everything falls into place.
I just feel, sometimes I'm in rush of things
Yeah.
which is not under my control as well. But then I talk with you guys, like a lot of people come to my show, and when I see them relaxed, stable, happy, I feel why can't I be like, when I'm taking inspiration, why can't I just take these things and just calm myself, relax?
Sometimes when I'm just not feeling great or not feeling like I'm moving forward,
Yeah.
I just look back. Honestly, Instagram is the best way for me to go through the 2.5 years of my life.
Yeah.
And so I would just, look at all the conferences that I've done in 2.5 years. And this is a very good way for me to remind myself that from 0 to 150, I've done a lot.
Hey everyone, welcome back to How Many Are with Deepa. And today's guest is living proof that it's never too late to chase your calling. Imagine stepping into a completely new career, not in your 20s, not in your 30s, not in your 40s, but in your 50s, absolutely owning it by your 60s. So, from Montreal to Dubai to Riyadh, from behind the scene to owning the spotlight, meet someone who redefined what reinvention looked like. She is now a sought after presenter, MC, and conference chair, hosting global events like COP28 and sharing stages with some of the world's most influential voices. But behind the mic is a woman with immense courage, curiosity, and the kind of grace that makes you stop and listen. Please welcome the powerful, poised, and incredibly inspiring Alexandra Topalian. I'm so excited to have you here. First of all, I have to ask you, when you hear all that, what comes to your mind? And do you ever pause and think that, wow, I have come so far?
I have to say that this is one of the best intros I've ever heard from myself. So thank you very much. I'm flattered.
Most welcome.
It's very nice of you to say all these things. Even the 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s part. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Deepa.
It's my pleasure. So, what was it like, starting something in your 50s? Like, I'll go back to me and say that when I was thinking of starting this podcast, it took me a while, and I paused and said, like, am I really ready? Or like, there were so many questions. How the journey was for you?
So I'm 50 today.
Yeah.
I started 2.5 years ago. So let's say
Okay.
48, 47 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely a very late start. But I think that a career change is great for anyone who wants to do something different, especially as we get older. Our interests change. In my case, my homes change every 3-4 years because we're moving expats, and so as my sixth posting here in Dubai, as I follow my husband's postings,
Yeah.
I think a career change is something that for me is a requirement and a necessity, really, because I guess the move encourages it, but also my interests change rapidly, I'm going to say. And I think that it's where I always wanted to be on stage, whether it's singing in my 20s in a band on stage or, dancing on stage. I love performance, and I love to be it's where I'm happiest, right?
And you're doing so good.
Thank you very much, my dear. Thank
So,
you.
can you take us back to Alexandra before the mic and spotlight? What were you doing before stepping into a world of moderating and hosting?
Okay. Well, I've been doing many different things over the last 20 years, where we've lived in 6 different places, but I'll just highlight a few. So we lived in Vietnam, and there I was running an NGO, a nonprofit organization, where we would raise funds for community aid projects. In the Philippines, I was posted there, but I did not work. I took the opportunity to study. So I did an executive coaching degree, and I did a online hospitality certificate. Because at that point I wanted to work in hotels.
Okay.
So different jobs, different places where
Wow.
I've lived. I've also been an executive. When you receive people in a new country and you take them around to visit the city, to visit the schools, to visit the different homes. So a relocation consulting job. So different places, different. But here in Dubai, when I got here, I didn't work for the first couple of years thinking of what am I going to do? What do I want to do?
Right.
And I just really wanted to do something where I speak.
So when you started hosting, so did you ever doubt yourself while changing path at a later stage of your life? So did you ever doubt yourself while changing, path as a later stage of your life?
Of course. I doubted myself and my capabilities because I have no formal training in communications. I have no degree in communications or in journalism. So of course, when it's a big difference in hosting a gala dinner that anyone can do and moderating a panel on a topic that I have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of self-doubt that instilled in me, and a lot of what we call imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
It's that feeling that you're an imposter, you just don't belong there. What are you doing there? Who are you to be moderating a panel on venture capitals, venture capitalists, or whatever the topic may be, right? So this is something that a lot of people deal with, and it's not just speakers that deal with imposter syndrome. You could walk into a gym at a very unfit time in your life and feel like an imposter because everyone's training, everyone's fit, everyone's exercising, and here you are. So you feel like an imposter. This can be taken in various, scenarios.
Yeah.
So imposter syndrome is something that I deal with very regularly, especially as I start to moderate panels on topics that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
So it's always there lingering, and I have to talk to myself every day about how I will manage to moderate, how I will learn about the topic, what am I going to do to educate myself, who am I going to ask to give me a crash course on it. So definitely these are a lot of self-doubt moments that anyone deals with. I deal with them a lot more frequently because I'm always venturing into areas that I've never been in before. So I guess imposter syndrome is actually a very good thing because it basically shows you that you're progressing in life, right? If I'm always going to stay in the comfortable zone of hosting an award ceremony, which is very easy. You just call up the name of the person and offer the award. Then you're not really growing. But imposter syndrome is proof that you are growing, right? Because you're venturing in territory you've never ventured in before. You have a feeling of, what am I doing here? And that shows me that it's growth. It's personal growth. So I'm trying to turn it into a positive. I'm trying to turn this anguish and this anxiety, and everyone should do that, I think, when they feel that they don't belong somewhere.
That's so true. For example, while I was coming to the studio, I was just feeling, what am I doing? Because you always doubt yourself. But I've read somewhere, and a guru has also mentioned that when you doubt yourself, then it's the symbol of that you are growing.
Yes.
Because the moment you are comfortable in your chair, it's like you are stagnant. You're not going anywhere. If you challenge yourself, that is the part when you have started growing, like slowly only, but you are growing for sure.
Exactly. And it takes, I think the word is courage, right?
Yeah.
It's courageous that you started your podcast and you did it. You did it because there's a gap between having all this information that you hold and doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Knowing and doing are two different things. You can know
Everything.
all the information in the word about your topic, about your industry, but you're just not acting.
Yeah.
So you have to act. And you did. Yay.
Yeah. I'm glad I did.
Yes.
So, what was your enough is enough moment, that inner voice that pushed you to try something new?
An inner voice.
Yeah. When did you realize, by the way, that you are made for stage? And you know, whenever I see your post, and it's so nice, like the face which you have, you know.
Yeah.
So when you do something you really passionate about, your eyes spark.
Oh, okay.
And I really see that in some of the people and in you as well. You know, when
Really?
you host and when you be there on the stage, your face says that how happy or how excited you are, how much you love what you're doing.
Yes.
So
I
what
have
was
high
that?
energy and
Yeah, the energy, right?
I think, well, my parents say that at 3, we would go to a restaurant, I would go from table to table and ask if I can sing a song to the
That's
different
cute.
people, to the different
Yeah.
tables. So I think 3 is when it started. But enough is enough. I don't think I had an enough is enough moment. It's
Okay.
just wanting to be somewhere and working towards, towards piercing through that industry. And yeah, I think it progressed. And it was, I guess, being at the right place at the right time, because
Yeah.
Dubai is a phenomenal city when it comes to events and conferences. And so I don't think this could have happened in another place other than Dubai and Riyadh. For now, I think these are the main hubs for conferencing.
Yeah,
So-
that's so right.
Yes.
And talking about, you know, you have to be at the right place at the right time. My friend, one of my friend, I was speaking, you know, about the opportunities
Yeah.
which Dubai offers to the people. And she also said that the same thing. I just remember that, you know, in Dubai you have so many opportunity. You just have to be there at the right place at the right
Exactly.
time. And you
Absolutely.
can just get whatever you want. Same with you, right?
Yeah, the environment is there. It's just it's bubbling. It's just waiting for you to
Yeah, take action.
to seize the opportunity. Like you said,
Yeah.
I'm an opportunist.
Oh, yes, you are. How did people around you respond to this shift? Were they supportive or skeptical?
No one ever came out and said, "What are you doing? This is ridiculous. You have zero experience. You've
Yeah.
never done this in your life." But I think that sometimes not saying anything at all is something. For example, when you would expect someone to say, "Wow, you know, what do you like? How did you
Yeah.
get into this?"
Yeah.
Having absolutely zero
Experience. Yeah.
zero, nothing to say
Yeah.
to me, whether it's good or bad, right? Nothing at all says a lot. So I think people might be surprised, you know, how, you know.
And did your family also didn't said anything, or they were very supportive?
Yeah, my parents are very proud of me. My aunt, my cousins, everyone is very proud. And I think that a lot of people have reached out and said, you know, what you're doing is incredible. Like how fast you have, you know,
Grown, yeah.
gone from zero to hosting
Yeah.
conferences every week is amazing. And it's very encouraging to hear these words for me, because it shows me that, you know, I'm doing okay, and I enjoy doing what I'm doing. And
So,
yeah.
if we talk about like, you know, someone who wants to start something in their career now, and you have to advise them, right? Because you have been through the journey. So what are the words which you want to tell them that they should? I know like everyone's journey is very different from one another, but still they can gain some knowledge from your experience.
Of
So
course.
what will be that advice?
My number one advice is start. Just start. You'll never get perfection, so don't even aim for it.
Yeah.
If it's regardless of what it is, right? It couldn't be. In my case, it's speaking. For you, it might be, you know, starting a podcast.
Yeah.
Just start, begin, and from then you'll see that, you know, there's an automatic, like a wheel that starts to turn. But if you don't begin, and you're waiting for that perfect moment, for that perfect guest to have
Yeah.
on, the perfect topic to discuss, right?
Right.
I'm going to tell you very honestly, I've been thinking about doing a podcast for 2 years, and I still can't get myself to start, because I like hospitality. I like F&B. I like, to discuss things like menopause, perimenopause. So I've never started the podcast because I have no idea what angle I want to take, right? So this is a clear example of not starting something.
Yeah.
My advice, the first piece of advice I would give is just to begin. Just do it. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect. Doesn't matter if it's,
Just start.
just start.
That's true. And I also just started because
Yeah.
a lot of people just pushed me and said, like, if you will never make it until and unless you start it.
Right.
Because the time I realized there is nothing called perfect, you don't have a definition for perfect. Like, maybe perfect change for you and perfect is different for me.
That's true.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
nothing is called like a perfect life, a perfect guest. Like, you are my perfect guest today. Maybe tomorrow I'll go ahead with another guest. She or he will be. So it just changes with the time, right?
Yes.
But as you said, like, you just have to start.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Just start. See whether you rise, fall, but you'll have a journey to share with the world, right?
Of course. And what makes a project so special is the imperfections.
Yeah.
Right? I admire, whether it's a podcast or a speaker, any imperfection can be funny, can be relatable. Your charisma can shine through the mistake that you made, right?
Yeah,
So
true.
it's just, podcasting or speaking or any industry would agree that aiming for perfection is just a delay.
Yeah.
A delay in your personal growth, and
We're just lying to ourselves that someday something perfect will happen and then
Yeah.
we will start, and it never comes.
Yes, and there's a difference between perfection and improving yourself,
Yeah.
right? I'm not saying that we should not improve on the way we speak, on the way we, project our voice or whatever it is. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that perfection and trying to get it 100% right is difficult.
Yeah.
And is it even worth it after all? Do we really, I personally don't aim for that. Yeah, I don't think that's what makes me a good speaker.
Right. So, what fear did you face internally while reinventing yourself?
Yes. So the jitters that I get before going on stage couldn't be seen as, something
Right.
called anxiety or being nervous. But I really see that as adrenaline. And that adrenaline rush is a positive for me because it gets me in the zone that I need to be to do a fantastic job on stage hosting an event. What I would say to everyone is don't see it as, oh my God, I'm nervous. I can't speak on stage. I have a presentation to give in front of 400 people, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Don't see it as I'm nervous because that can paralyze you completely.
Yeah.
Just go with it and see it as an adrenaline rush, right? It's a different, you're reframing it as adrenaline rather than anxiety, which has negative connotations, right?
So, do you still get conscious about, like, going on the stage because now you have certain year of experience and you have become a pro now? So, do you still feel that, like, same thing
Yes.
while going for the first time and now?
Yes, every time I
Every
go
time.
up, I get the adrenaline rush, and I love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
don't see it as something that's gonna, paralyze me. No, but of course, anyone who says that they don't feel it anymore is just, I don't know,
Yeah.
subhuman.
So, you are now hosting panels at global events like COP28, Riyadh, Dubai Forum. How did you land your first major hosting and moderating opportunities?
Oh God, the first one would be the first one. I think it was GITEX at GITEX in 2023. That would be the first shot I got, and I reached out to
Them.
to them, and I found a point that we had in common, myself and the person that hired me, and I entertained a relationship over LinkedIn over a year.
Nice.
And that's how I got the first,
how
I would say,
difficult was
important
it?
one, the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how difficult was it?
It wasn't difficult because I had, researched the topic very
Okay.
well. I had read upon It was the fintech stage. So I had studied fintech inside out. I had a good month to prepare, and I asked people to, explain it to me. What does this mean? What does that mean? Because there's a lot of acronyms.
Yeah.
We're not expected to know these things as MCs or panel moderators, but of course you do a better job if you can ask questions that are relevant.
Yeah.
So I think that that is the first important event for me back in 2023, the GITEX FinTech surge.
Okay. And how does it actually take to be a successful moderator or MC on global stages?
What does it take?
Yeah.
Well, you have to know your panelists, and you have to understand what it is that they do and how they're related to the topic in order to generate questions that are appropriate for them. So I think that's the most important thing, to get your panelists to know who they are, and to have questions also that
Engage.
that engage, yes, but also that, for example, if I ask one panelist a question, you have to also have, something to reply to that. You can't just, I personally don't like to just say, okay, thank you, and then move on to the next. There has to be some sort of a flow, a natural flow.
Yeah.
So I think for me, what I aim for is to have that flow, and to have enough knowledge about the topic to be able to say something and link it to the next panelist. So that is something that's difficult if you don't know your topic very well.
So what happened when you are so there are many technical people, like we were discussing that day over the coffee, that, sometimes we feel lost, both of us. When people sitting in front of us gets into fully technical words.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
They are just talking about technical and we are lost.
Yes. This is when the imposter syndrome
So what happened that time? Yeah, for sure we start questioning that,
Of
why am
course.
I sitting here? What is the purpose? I'm not trying to
course.
understand how will in my case, I think if I'm not able to understand, how will my audience understand that?
Yeah.
So I started thinking, what can I do to make it more easier to understand? Break for me. Firstly, I break it for me, and then I think how will I convey to my audience that what the person has been talking, what she or he meant. So I try to bring questions which is very easy, and it's very convincing that if you and me are talking, it will be very easy for the audience to understand what are we talking about. But what happened when in the panel, because it's a live show,
Exactly.
this I can cut and paste, right?
Yep.
But what happened that time?
So if I'm on a panel and I'm not understanding what the panelists' reply is or answer is to my question, if you're well prepared for those moments, you can have something to say in response. Broaden it up, like what are some of the challenges with what you've just mentioned, or there's ways there's answers but you have to prepare for those potential setbacks on a panel. Definitely. I think preparation is key. Absolutely. If you're well prepared and you have answers to everything or almost everything, and you have a way of linking it to your next speaker, I think it's doable. It's doable. But still, there are topics that I will not touch anytime soon because I've already have enough on my plate.
That's true.
There's just so much I can learn.
There is no ending of learning. I can never, if even I read a billion of book, then also I won't say that I know everything.
Yes.
Because there is no end to knowledge, right?
There's no end to knowledge, but there's also so many hours in a day, and if I'm 3 days in an event, I can't be studying about the panel that's coming up on the 5th day, right? It's just not enough time.
Right.
So I select, I guess, at the moment I will not touch certain topics,
Right. You have to be well prepared for it.
Yes, of course.
So what are the most powerful lesson you have learned while standing on those podiums and stages?
I think I think the most important lesson when standing on stage is making it interesting for the audience, and keeping them engaged and keeping it interesting and exciting, building the momentum to a speaker that's just about to come up on stage, ensuring that the speaker, knows exactly what to do, how much time he has to speak, so that everything flows and the conference doesn't end at 7 p.m. because everyone's gone over. So yeah, I'm very known to keep time very well.
Yeah.
So that's, for me, that's one of the most important things is timekeeping.
Nice.
Another thing I've learned is to, let me think. What have I learned? So many things. But I guess those would be the main things relate to the audience and keeping them
So
engaged.
you are saying that engagement is the key.
Engagement
You have
is very important for them to remember this conference.
Yeah.
And for the following year, when the conference producers re-invite them to the same conference that happens every year, just a new edition, they're going to say, oh yeah, that event, that conference was really interesting.
yeah.
The MC, and I want the conference to be memorable because it's a win-win. It's a win for me and it's a win for the conference producer, right? Because they're going to have repeat business for their following edition. People are going to remember it. They're going to say that was a fantastic conference. The quality of speakers, it was timely, it was fun, it was engaging. So it's good for me and it's good for the conference producer. So that is my main goal, I would say, when hosting. Yeah.
So how has your perception of age and ambition evolved since entering in your 50s now?
So my perception of age is that I'm a lot more confident. I am a lot more content and satisfied with myself. I always try to do better, don't get me wrong, but this level of peace and self-acceptance is very recent for me. Yeah, so I think the need to prove myself or the need to have 100 friends is no longer there. I think the stability that you reach, that level of comfort and that level of self-acceptance is something that only happens later. Maybe after the kids are, grown or it's...
So if you have to give a piece of advice to your younger self in your 20s or 30s, so what would it be?
I would say to my younger self, I'd say don't worry, be happy.
Everything will fall in place.
Everything falls into place. Yeah, everything falls into place. I think we try so hard to mold teenagers, and before they go to university, like, what do you want to study? You have to have a plan.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to have a plan because so much happens in your 30s and in your 40s. You might change direction 3, 4, 5 times before you actually find yourself, before you're actually happy. How many people are doing jobs now in their 20s and 30s and they're just going to work?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not happy necessarily doing their jobs. So it's a journey, and I would say take it easy. You might change 3, 4 times the direction. Everything will be fine. Everything will fall into place. Most important thing is I think to just be healthy.
Yeah.
Because without health, we have absolutely nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
That is so true. And
Yeah.
this advice I'll take from you, I'm going to take this, that just relax.
Just relax.
Because everything, because I'm going to enter in my 30s, but I just feel, sometimes I'm in rush of things, which is not under my control as well.
Right.
But then I talk with you guys, a lot of people come to my show, and when I see them relaxed, stable, happy, I feel, why can't I be when I'm taking inspiration, why can't I just take these things and just calm myself, relax? Because what is the purpose of sitting here if I myself doesn't implement all these things, right?
Right. But that's your phase. That's you maybe that's what you need to go through in order to reach my phase.
Yeah. No, that's
you can't just jump fast forward.
No, that I agree. That I'm going through, but still I feel like, inner peace is much more important. To do more hustle and to just run faster, you need to have a peace of mind.
Yeah.
Because when you are at peace, you make like, good decision, you think through different topic thoroughly, and you sit with yourself and give time. When you are in a rush, for example, I'm a podcaster. I see a lot of podcasters and I see their achievement. I see their stories. And like, that makes me feel like, what am I doing? You know?
Yeah.
Then I see their backstories. They have started 10 years early.
Exactly.
The kind of hard work they have put.
It
So
doesn't just come after 5 or 10 podcasts.
Podcasts, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just feel like...
Patience.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Patience,
the key.
patience.
Patience,
That's
yeah.
I guess that's another piece of advice I would give. Just be patient.
Yeah. So do you feel more confident and clear about your purpose now than you did in your 20s or 30s?
Yes, definitely. I know that I have a better understanding of where I'm heading and what I want to do as I get older. And I want it to be more meaningful.
Yeah.
You know, I want it to be more aligned with my values and what I stand for and what I value. So I think this is great for now. Moderating panels on venture capitalists is great, but is it really aligned with what I want to do ultimately? Maybe not. For now it's where I'm at, and I'm enjoying this. But eventually, I don't know. Maybe the podcasting.
For sure. After this, you will like it, and I'm sure you will start it because it's fun.
Yeah, no, it is fun. It is fun. But
So, what has your career taught you about starting late but shining bright?
Oh, I love your questions, shining bright. What has my career taught me about starting late?
Yeah.
And
And
you know
shining
what?
bright.
There's not a lot of. I was reading something that mentioned that 70% of women entrepreneurs, 70% of women entrepreneurs started after the age of 50. I can't remember exactly what it said, but basically there is no late or early.
Yeah.
It's just that at this point in my life, yes, it's not in my first 50s, it's in my second 50s, second part of my life. It's just a different journey, but it's not late.
No.
I wouldn't call it late.
Yeah.
I'd call it just a different phase of my life, and I needed to maybe get through all of this and be in Dubai to begin this journey, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't think that I could have reached this in the 3 previous countries I lived in, right? Vietnam, Philippines, Egypt. I don't think the environment was
The suitable one.
was suited for that growth. But I mean, what I was doing in these countries was amazing at the time. I mean, I loved working for NGOs and
I
community
think you were
aid.
preparing yourself to be here.
I was.
Because everything is a part of the life, you don't decode it at that stage of your life, but when you go forward, when you look back,
Yes.
then you just think, oh, okay, I was getting ready for this phase of my life. Because
Right.
I remember while I was sitting with my friend, I always used to talk to them, like I'm question and answering, and I never thought at that point of my time that I'll be sitting here.
Yeah.
So when I look back, I say, oh, okay, I got it now. That I was preparing
Yes.
myself for
Exactly, you're preparing yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that in preparation, a very important thing to me is receiving feedback, right? And a lot of people don't like feedback because it might not be what you want to hear.
Right.
But that feedback is gold because it might redirect you in a better direction, in a better, towards a better path. You might realign your strategy, reassess who you're targeting. So feedback is great, and don't be afraid to ask for feedback because ultimately it's going to help.
Right.
And if you don't like what you hear, well, take it or leave it. It's up to you to take it or to leave it. But opinions, I value. I value everyone's opinion. So if you have something to say it. If you don't like what I have to say it. I want to know why.
Yeah.
Why? Why didn't you like it? Why did you like it? Yeah. So I think that.
Do you also think that feedback matters from the kind of people it is coming, or you are saying that in general you can take feedback from anyone?
Well, see, no, it is important who it's coming from,
Yeah.
right? So someone said to me, "Wow, that's really high energy there. What just happened today on stage?" And I was like, "Okay, I get the feedback from that person, and another person might have the same thing to say, high energy, but in a more that they actually appreciated it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it depends. The show that I just did last week at the Hive Furniture Show, they hired me for that, right? They're like, we want your craziness
Yeah.
on stage.
Yeah.
We want you to be loud. We want you to. So it really depends. Yeah. Maybe I won't get hired for some jobs, but am I going to change who I am? I mean, I try to tone it down as much as I can, but
Right.
sometimes it's difficult.
I think
And
that's your specialty.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
and that's who I am. And
Yeah.
yeah.
So, what would you say to someone who is in their, like, I won't, I don't want to mention, like, in their 20s, 30s, or
Yeah.
I just want to say that those who are in their phase of life where they are stuck or lost, or they think it's too late to start over. Because there are some people who just think that, at this, like I'll say that the perfect moment, they
Yeah.
always wait for the perfect, or they have certain circumstances. Some people have their family issues, some people have a lot of commitment,
That's true.
and they say that after I fulfill this, then I'll start. So what is one piece of advice you want to give to them?
No, that's very difficult because it's true. If you want to go back to school, but you have 3 children at home, it's not evident. It's not the easiest thing to solve. So absolutely, support is important. If you can find ways nowadays with online, let's say it's going back to school, there's a lot of online programs now. You can even do a master's online, or I think anything can be done online at
Yeah.
this point, right? And they are flexible enough to where you can work around your schedule at work, or where you could, but little steps is my advice. Take baby steps, baby steps to where you want to go. You don't have to see it as a mountain. It's not that challenging to take a baby step, right? So write down your plan and set yourself some achievable goals, and bit by bit you'll get there. Make them realistic, and you'll get there. That's my
Yeah.
piece of advice.
Nice. So how do you deal with the imposter syndrome, especially in the high profile competitive environment?
Yes, I constantly self-talk. I
Yeah.
talk to myself.
Yeah.
I constantly have to remind myself that I'm well prepared, and a lot of reviewing helps me in that sense to combat imposter syndrome. So it's basically, the more I prepare, the less I feel like I don't belong. The more I'm ready to ask the right questions, and I know what to reply, then I think it comes with preparation in my case, in my field. Yeah.
When you say you talk to yourself, what exactly do you talk to yourself?
Oh, you really want to know?
If
yeah.
you can.
Someone asked me, like, how do you fight someone was asking me, how do you personally fight the anxiety that you feel before going on stage? And I was like, I sing Eye of the Tiger. I know that's a bit like old for you, maybe, this song. Do you know it?
No, I
No,
don't.
exactly. Those who are born in the 70s and 80s will know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess psyching yourself up is one thing that I do. What do I tell myself is, you're ready for this, you're smart enough, this is not rocket science, you understand it, chill.
Yeah.
I tell myself chill, and I breathe,
Yeah.
and I just slow down.
Yeah.
Just slow down. Just
Okay.
relax. Everything's
Yeah,
going to be
I
fine.
also say the same.
Someone in journalism once told me, well, look, you're not expected to know everything about green hydrogen, right?
Yeah.
You're not expected to know the ins and outs about upstream and downstream and the oil rigs. And so calm down. Like, we hired you to moderate. And if you're here, there's a reason why you're here.
Yeah.
And that made me feel incredible. Yeah, it was like, okay, you're right. I'm here. I'm here after 2.5 years. So just accept it, and value yourself enough to also agree with that you should be here. Indeed, I'm here.
Because you deserve it, right?
Right. So these are ways of combating
Right.
imposter syndrome. When you feel like you just don't belong, remind yourself, well, if you're here, there's a damn good reason why.
You belong here, that's why you're here, right?
Yes, exactly.
So, what habit or mindset shift helped you move forward when things felt uncertain? Was there a point like when you felt like things were uncertain and this is not it or something?
When things felt uncertain, sometimes I feel like what's next, and that uncertainty in the sense where I don't know if I could maybe get a different role or a different conference or a conference that I have absolutely no experience with, for example, oil and gas. That uncertainty is an example that I can give you, not knowing if I would be able to do it, not knowing how to reach the right people to, sell myself to them. So I guess these are uncertainties. I would say the uncertainties are what's next.
Yeah.
In terms of topic and in terms of what type of event it is, because right now it's pretty much Middle East and Africa.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much tech conferences, occasional award ceremonies, occasional launch events and gala dinners. Yeah, but there's a lot more, and the uncertainty is, would I be able to get that?
Yeah.
Or do I need to have certain, more training, more
Got it. So how do you balance this is my favorite question. How do you balance your professional persona and your personal life?
On social media or anywhere?
Sorry?
Like on social media, how do I balance it?
No,
Or?
it's like your personal life.
Okay. How do I
And
balance
your professional life. Yeah.
yes,
Work
yes.
and your personal life. Yeah.
Yes. Well, luckily for me, there are no events on Mondays and Fridays, okay? For some reason.
Yeah.
Conferences are never on the first day of the week.
Yeah.
And they're never on a Friday.
Fridays, okay.
Especially in this region, right? It's a holy prayer day.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of free time, right? I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So those
Wow.
are the days where I have personal time and where I prepare for a conference. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are the main days for events.
Yeah.
So I don't work full time.
Yeah. That's great.
So it's easier to balance work life. I go to the gym 3 times a week, or I try, and that's a must. Because did you know that when you work out 20 minutes or 30 minutes a day, you actually become your cognitive abilities are increased.
Really?
And there are studies that prove that. I don't know about you, but after you exert yourself, after you've done some physical activity, whether it's running, swimming, whatever it is, do you not feel that, I'm going to say adrenaline, but no, the endorphins, like do you feel happier?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I do.
Right.
When I look at the mirror after the gym, even I'm not getting slimmer, but I feel good because I did something for my body, and I thank myself so that tomorrow morning also I can come and hit the gym.
You see?
So that my mind get something, because when you talk to yourself, I have just felt this, when I talk good things about myself, there is something inside me wants to do it more.
Yes.
But I talk when I'll never make it. And the moment I enter, I got fear. I get anxiety, like, oh shit, I have to face it again.
Yeah.
I have to do certain thing which is not. And then in my head, I plan hitting to the gym. You will wear your most beautiful dress. You'll fit in. You will look awesome. You will just, stand out of it. You're doing this for your body. So my brain is ready,
Yeah,
because I'm getting
absolutely.
something.
Yeah, definitely you're doing it for your body, but
Yeah.
also your mind, because after I finish working out, I feel amazing
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah.
So I definitely need that incorporated in my life, and I will not, that's something I will not forego. So that balance has to be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agree. So we are at the end of the podcast. So this is last question. Was there a moment during this journey that you made sit back and say, I made it? And wow, I did it. Like, do you sit back and say to yourself that, wow, this is me. I've done it.
Yes. Sometimes when I'm just not feeling great or not feeling like I'm moving forward,
Yeah.
I just look back and honestly, Instagram is the best way for me to go through the 2.5 years of my life.
Yeah.
And so I would just, look at all the conferences that I've done in 2.5 years. And this is a very good way for me to remind myself that from 0 to 150, I've done a lot in 2.5 years. So everyone needs that pick me up, that
Yeah.
uplifting reminder that you actually did a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes, especially after Ramadan, where there were 0 conferences, 0 events happening during Ramadan, you kind of feel like, oh my God, what's happening? I have no work. La, la, la. So you feel like mentally, I was feeling like because I'm not working, I'm not producing, I'm not, successful.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel great during Ramadan, and after Ramadan was Eid, still no events the first 2 weeks of April. So this is a time where I said to myself, okay, no, you have to get out of this frame of mind. Remind yourself of everything you've accomplished. But I think everyone goes through that.
Yeah, for sure they go.
Everyone goes
So
through
what is
that.
the last piece of advice to the people who wants to start fresh
Yes.
and to start something which they are not very sure that how does it work, but they are sure that they can do it.
So they're sure that they can do it, but they just haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just do it. Just start, right? It's just a matter of starting. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you don't have the right setup. It doesn't matter if you don't have the right tools, or just go with what you have, begin the journey, whatever it is, and eventually it'll become better. It'll become, more attractive, or whatever it is. I'm trying to think of different scenarios, because it's not just in public speaking that this
Yeah.
could be applied to. But I think beginning is the number one piece of advice. Just start.
Yeah.
Right? You have all this information about your topic, about your industry, about what you do. Go for it. Go for it. Don't wait. Don't wait for perfection. Don't. It's not what's going to sell you. It's not by speaking more eloquently on your podcast it's the little things about you that are going to make me
Yeah.
watch you. It's the questions that you ask. It's your quirkiness. It's this person. It's going to be his something else, right?
Yeah.
So don't aim for perfection. Just start. Just do it, because there's a big difference between knowing and doing.
I got it. That was such a great conversation, and just do it, guys. Just do it. Because
Take it from me.
Yeah, take it from her. And I'll see you on the next podcast. If you like this, do subscribe and like my podcast. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.